Today I'm going to show you how to put all your friends in a snow globe in Photoshop. Hey guys, welcome to Phlearn. My name is Aaron Nace. We make learning Photoshop and photography fun. That's a new tagline. I'm trying it out. I don't know how it works just yet. Today we're doing something really cool and incredibly stupid, and we're gonna be putting me and all of my friends and everyone we know inside of a snow globe in Photoshop. And we're gonna do a question of the day starting right now. What is the dumbest thing you've ever used Photoshop for? Leave it in a comment right down below here on YouTube or on Phlearn. I'd love to know. All right, let's get into our episode. So we've got our image here. We actually took this during our holiday party a couple weeks ago, and there's a link, well, you can just look at it in this video right now if you guys want to see behind the scenes video to our holiday party. And we're gonna be putting us inside of the snow globe. And this is an image I got on Flickr Creative Commons, and we got it from this guy, Michael Nutt. We'll put a link right down below. So all you have to do basically is get your image of a snow globe or whatever, and we've got our image of all of our friends. And you can see we're kind of like looking down at this image. So I wanted an image of a snow globe where we're also looking down at it. That's the key. Make sure they both are kind of coming from the same camera angle. All right, so all we have to do, let's go ahead and grab our move tool, and I'm gonna click on this image and just drag it from one image over to the other one. All right, so basically we've got this image and it's over top of the snow globe. I'm gonna hit F for full screen, and let's just go ahead and zoom in here. All right, there we go. And now we're gonna go ahead and make this invisible real quick. I'm gonna grab my marquee selection tool, and I'm gonna make a selection right around our snow globe. And you can hold down Shift if you wanna make sure it's a perfect circle, like that band from the 90s. All right, there we go. We're gonna go ahead and make that selection. So that looks pretty good. Now, we're gonna click our layer back visible, and I'm gonna click on my layer mask button. And that's basically just gonna make this layer only visible where that circle is. Now, we're gonna unclick, there's a little chain link here. We're gonna unclick that, and now I'm gonna hit my layer, and I'm gonna hit Command T, and then we're going to just size this. So basically what we wanna do is click on our layer here, and we're gonna click on this little chain link so we can unclick the layer and the layer mask. That way I'm gonna be able to move each one of those independently from one another. So if I click on my layer, I can hit Command T, which is gonna bring up my transform dialog. I'm gonna move this little control point right to the middle there, and then click here on the lock between the width and the height, and then I can just scale this down. And as I scale this image, you can see it keeps my layer mask in place. So it's a really cool, easy way to just like scale one layer while keeping the rest of your image in place. All right, and scale it about where you want it, and then go ahead and hit enter. That's looking incredibly bad and really good at the same time. All right, the next thing we want to do, let's just hit Command plus a couple times. We're going to zoom in here. Let's move this right over there, make sure everyone's inside. We're going to zoom in, and I'm going to use my magic wand tool. So I'm going to hit W for the magic wand tool, and we're going to sample this layer. Basically, I'm just going to shift click a couple of times. Now, for a lot of this image, we were selecting out, we're shooting on a seamless backdrop, which is why we can just grab our magic wand tool and make that a selection, just like that. And that'll work for most of it, except for this other area. We'll take care of that in a different way. Okay, so basically we're selecting out our background here, and then click on the same layer mask, and you can hit Shift Delete, and now we can say fill this with black, because black is gonna make something invisible on a layer mask. So let's hit OK, and there we go. Fills that with black, and now we just need to basically make up for everything else. I'm gonna grab my lasso tool and just kind of make a rough selection right around some of these other areas here. All right, and you don't really have to do that great of a job here. You can hold Alt or Option Delete, which is going to fill with your foreground color, and in this case, my foreground color happens to be black. All right, and I'm just kind of coming around here. If you wanted to get really kind of technical and perfect with this, you could use the pen tool, and I'm not using the pen tool. I'm using the magic wand tool I'm using the lasso tool rather, because this is a ridiculous holiday card and there's no reason for it to be any better than it is. So we're just gonna, there we go. We're gonna select it out like this and fill it with black. Okay, so there we are. We're all just having a ball inside of the ball, and it looks really horrible. There's some things we can do to make sure it's gonna look good and actually like bring the image back over top. So let's go ahead and make this invisible. I see like there's a little like a little Santa hat right there that I can kind of see through. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make a new layer, and I'm gonna hit S for the clone stamp tool, and what we're gonna do is just clone stamp right over the Santa hat, just to make sure that we have a nice clean backdrop behind our people. There we go, that's looking a little bit better. Now the next thing I'm gonna do, let's go ahead and merge these layers. So I'm gonna shift click them and hit Command E to merge them together. And then I want a way to get like this reflections and stuff like that that's in the glass over top of the people to make them look like they're actually behind the glass. So to do that, I'm gonna hit Command J on the background layer and then Command close bracket to move that back over top. And the reflections, that sort of stuff, it's usually gonna be lighter than everywhere else. So I just wanna make this layer not visible where it's dark. And that basically should help the light come back over top. I'll just do it and then you can see because it's kind of hard to describe. Okay, double click here on your background copy. There we go. We're gonna double click on that, and then over here we're gonna hold Alt or Option, and I'm gonna say on this layer, I don't want this layer to be visible where it's darker, just where this layer is lighter. And then we're gonna grab from the left to the right and kind of bring this in as well. There we go. And you can see where the layer is darker, it's kind of disappearing. There we go. And just where it's lighter is where you're actually gonna be able to see through. Perfect. And we can even change the layer blend mode from normal down to something like screen. And hit OK. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna give us our reflections and things like that over top of the people, and it's just gonna make it look a lot more real. Now we just need snow, and we can do it with a custom brush. We can actually make our own snow. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna create a new layer. I'm gonna hit B for the brush tool, and we'll just use a regular round brush, but I'm gonna go to Window, and then down here to Brush. So here's gonna make us some snow, why not? We'll turn up size jitter, and we'll turn on angle jitter, roundness jitter. Let's make our brush a little bit bigger so we can kind of see what we've got. We're gonna turn on our scattering all the way up. Let's turn off transfer. And then we're gonna turn on, let's do our hardness up a little bit, and then the spacing up. And on a new layer, this should look a little bit like snow as I paint around. And basically what it's doing is just it's scattering all these things around, and then there we go. Let's bring up our spacing a little bit more. Some of them are gonna be large and some of them are gonna be small because we turned on our size jitter on here, and let's bring our minimum diameter down. There we go. That looks good. So we've got snow now that we can just paint around wherever we want in a magical wonderland. All right, I'm gonna hit Command A and let's just deselect that. And there we go. Now we can just paint in the snow back over top of the people, and it's gonna be really nice, like we were in it from the beginning. There we go. And we're gonna put some snow on the top, and then I haven't even lifted my pen tablet. I'm using a Wacom Intuos Pro right now, by the way. I haven't even lifted it up, so I'm just kind of painting it around, and all these little dots are created because I put that random scattering and everything like that as a part of the properties on the layer mask. There we go. That looks pretty good. And that's basically our snow. Now, if you want to make sure it doesn't come, like it's not visible outside of the snow globe, all you have to do is make a selection. And we could use the same selection here, but remember we already removed the people from that already. We already did that already. So I'm just gonna make another selection right over here. There we go. Just like that. And I'm gonna put that as a layer mask on this snow as well. So the snow's only gonna be visible right there. This looks really good. If by really good you mean like positively mediocre, then yes. I'm just gonna blur this layer mask here on the bottom really quick, which is just gonna kind of like give us a little bit more, a little bit less definition, kind of make it like it's curving around. There we go. All right, that looks great. And now, no holiday card is complete without some horrible text. Let's go ahead and group all those layers. I'm gonna hit T for the type tool on a new layer. Let's hit T, and we'll just say something incredibly cool, like don't get snowed in. All right, let's go zoom out and see where we're gonna hit Command T. Don't get snowed in. Oh, I put an exclamation mark on that. We don't want that. Let's select that and hit delete. There we go. Let's put that right down there because that looks really good. And then we'll just hit T for the text tool. And then I want to make this way cooler. All right, don't get snowed in this holidays. And we're gonna click over here, and I'm gonna click on my, we're gonna click right here on my character, And then you can actually, usually what I'll do is I'll just go scroll all the way to the top, and then I'll just use my down arrow right here, and that's just gonna cycle through. Well, it should anyway. Let's try that again. We're just gonna go all the way to the top, and then I'm gonna hit the down arrow, and what it's gonna do is just cycle through. There we go. It's gonna cycle through all of my different fonts. So it's a really easy way to just kind of like figure out which font you want. Let's turn off. Yeah. I'm gonna turn off the caps lock because we don't need that. All right. And I'm looking for something script, and then we're gonna do some fun layer effects, and then we're gonna be done because this is an amazing image. All right. Somewhere in here is a font that actually looks good. This is like half of my life is scrolling through fonts. Not really, that would be sad. That looks good-ish. Let's see if we make it like faux bold. All right, well that looks, you know, acceptable enough. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna hit Command T and size it up. All right, let's use our move tool to just kind of bring it down there. And I'm gonna double click right here on my layer. There we go, which is gonna bring up our layer effects. So we can bring in our style. I'm gonna put a gradient overlay in there, and I'm gonna choose something ridiculous like that. And we're gonna put a drop shadow on there. Let's go ahead and bring up our distance and our size a little bit. That's looking good. And I'm gonna bring in a stroke as well. Let's bring in a white color for the stroke. And then we can kind of change the size. So this is a pretty good example of how to make an amazingly bad Christmas card. Don't get snowed in this holiday. We should definitely have this overlap. But if we do have it overlap, what we want to do is double click on here. We want to put a drop shadow on this as well, so you can definitely see what's going on there. All right. Perfect. And you know what? The text is pretty bad, the type there, but I think we can make it just a little bit better. All right. It's really actually, it's harder than it looks to make something that is bad and also make it not too bad. It's because I want this to look bad, but I also want it to look good at the same time. It's like you have to fight your urge to make it good. And I think we're doing it. All right, don't get snowed in this holiday. Please. Let's hit Command T, and I'll just make that a little bit smaller. There we go. And then we're gonna wanna crop some useless information. So I'm gonna hit C for the crop tool. Let's just clear our existing crop. There we go, and perfect. Wow, that's really good. All right, underneath here, I'm gonna just make the edges a little bit brighter. So I'm gonna go to my levels adjustment layer. We're gonna grab our dark point, and I'm just gonna bring it up just like this to make it look like snow. And then we're just gonna choose a regular brush right over here and paint with white here around the edges. Give it this obnoxious white vignette that actually looks better than it. You know what? I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm making this too good now. I'm gonna just go to hue saturation. Can you see how this is like kind of looking bluish and then this looks yellowish? Above all that, I'm gonna go to hue saturation. I'm just gonna drag the saturation way, way down. I'm gonna hit Command I on that, and then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna just paint white right over here around the edges. There we go. So we don't get that like blue that turns into the yellow. It's just gonna be like the same colors. There we go. Awesome. This looks so bad, but so good at the same time. It's really, you know what? I'm really proud of this. I'm really proud of this. It turned out way better and way worse than I thought it would. Let's bring up our spread so we can see, like before, let's hit cancel there. The text wasn't like coming out just enough, so we're just gonna double click on there. We're gonna go to our drop shadow, bring up our opacity, and then bring up our spread a little bit. There we go. And we're gonna do the same thing with here as well. All right, drop shadow, and there we go. Just because you wanna make sure that, all right, you can actually see. So this is what, like, I'll turn these layers, the FX off and on, so you can see without the effects you kind of get lost in there, and it doesn't look nearly as ridiculous. And then with those effects back on, you actually see what you're doing, which is perfect. I really like this image. Let's hit Command T, and I'm gonna stretch this out, which is pretty much an absolute no-no. You just pretty much never wanna do that. But when you're creating something horrible, it suddenly becomes okay. You can break all the rules that you've ever learned and just do whatever you want in Photoshop. All right, that's it, guys. That is the end of our ridiculous holiday card. Let's see, there's our effects, turning that off and on, and the people inside the snow globe, and they look so happy and so wonderful. And that's the end of our episode. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and share it with every single person you know. Again, the question of the day is, what is the dumbest thing you've ever done in Photoshop? I'm pretty sure this was the dumbest thing I've ever done in Photoshop. Thanks again, guys, and we'll Phlearn you later. Bye, everyone. What do you guys think of my new beard? I'm growing it. I know it doesn't look good now, but I look into the future, not the present. Maybe I should Photoshop a beard on my face. Actually, that's a really good idea. How do you like the new format with my face very close to the camera? Is it intimidating?
Hi guys, Kat from Phlearn here. For more information about this video, please be sure to check out our website at phlearn.com. Check out our new pro tutorials, which include beautiful glowing skin and juicy kicks. We also have some awesome free videos like how to do an editorial corporate shoot and how to create lens flare in Photoshop. If you or anyone you know would like a free tutorial, please sign up for our newsletter. It's free. This is Kat, and I'll Phlearn you later.